Well, hey everyone, welcome to another of our live book readings. Today we are taking a look at My Little Mermaid retelling with a dark twist to it. We are talking all about the sinking today, and I am super excited because this is so much fun. You guys know I love My Little Mermaid retellings, and today we're going to be talking about how a human is tricked into the sea, loses her legs and has to fight to get them back, but the sea witch wants to silence her, except it's not for the reason that you think. So real quick, let me read the blurb to you. When a quirky older woman pawns a fancy seashell necklace at her mother's antique shop on the pier, Cara doesn't think much about the story the woman spins about the wearer turning into a mermaid. On her way home, she accidentally drops the necklace into the ocean and is swept out to sea, where she meets Quay, a merman who volunteers to take her to his mother, the Sea Queen, to help her get her legs back. Cara soon learns that it's Quay's 18th birthday, a day that has been a curse for his family, and is meant to be one for her too. Now she must fight to survive the sea with Quay at her side. So today we're going to jump in, and we are going to be reading the first chapter of The Sinking. I'm really excited for this one, and I hope you guys are just as excited as well. Thanks so much for joining us, both here on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm super excited to see each and every one of you. Let me go ahead and pull up our text for today. We are going to be reading the first chapter, and I am going to grab my blue light blocking glasses so that I don't burn my eyes out as I am reading this to you guys. Here we go. I'm really excited for this one as I prepare to jump in to this one. Here we go. Chapter 1 of The Sinking. The chime jingles as the pawn shop door closes. I probably shouldn't have sold them, but Mother says I need to stop hoarding the merchandise. The shop is usually quiet this time of day. The mothers all picking their children up from school, the men still at their jobs and unable to get off work early and come trade 2 weeks worth of pay for a ring for a pretty girl, and the old men that come looking to flirt are still at their late lunches. I regret giving away the chimes instantly. They're made of metal bars and little seashells. I could easily make another, but I don't like giving my treasures away. At least the older woman paid extra for it. I walk away from the register, rifling through my bag on the floor. I look up as the door clicks open. I was right. I shouldn't have sold the chimes. Before I can straighten, a woman hovers in front of me on the opposite side of the counter. She smiles a toothy grin at me. I'd like to trade this, she says, holding out a necklace. I hold out my hand, allowing her to rest the shell in it. Lifting it up, I examine the gold detail work around the metallic shell. The bottom opens, revealing a storage space, though nothing resides inside the shell. Legend says if you dip it into the sea and call out to the waves, it will turn you into a mermaid, she informed me. If you find your love below the waves, you get to stay, but if you don't, you drown beneath the waves. Why are you pawning this? I ask, closing the bottom of the necklace. We're not required to ask why people part with their things, but I have nothing better to do while trapped in the tiny shop on the pier. She looks at me thoughtfully. My son needs it, she says. I'll get it back if it doesn't work out. I can give you $50 for this, I inform her after examining it. The gold alone is worth more. All right, she says, ducking her head. She quietly accepts the money from me. I push the cash register closed as she heads toward the door. You have until the 21st to come back for this, ma'am, I call after her. Thank you, anemone, she calls back. Feel free to wear it until then. It would look beautiful on you. You can even try it in the water if you want to see a little magic. She winks, turning back toward the door as she fans the $10 bills out that I gave her. Try it on now, she insists, spinning back to me, nearly toppling the hair piled on her head under her wrap. I'd love to see it on you. I try to refuse, but finally give in when she lingers in the doorway, waiting, a wrinkled hand on the doorframe. I clasp it around my neck, allowing her to see the gold piece rest on my collarbone. As she exits, an older man walks in, looking for nothing in particular other than to spend a few minutes trying to make a pass at me. I show him a few things that recently became available, but inevitably he turns them all down and leaves empty-handed. By the time things slow down, the sun is setting over the horizon, casting marvelous colors out onto the ocean's surface. I lock the shop up for the night and wander down to the pier. Slipping off my shoes, I walk through the sand at the water's edge. One of the benefits of living near the ocean is walking in the waves every night after the tourists have gone home. That and perfect beach hair every single day. I make it all the way to the next pier before I realize I left the necklace on accidentally. My fingers clutch at it, the metal feeling cool in the front and warm where it had been resting against my skin. I sigh, not wanting to walk all the way back to the shop. I'll just take it back tomorrow, I mumble to myself. I try to tuck it under the collar of my shirt, but as I move, the clasp slips. I must not have closed it all the way. The necklace topples down in front of my chest, bouncing off my body. I scramble to catch it as the wave washes up to it, but I miss it in the air. It drops into the wave, tumbling back with it toward the open sea. No! I shout, racing toward it. I try 3 times to snatch it out of the water before I finally get my fingers around it. A wave crashes against me, knocking my feet out from under me, forcing me to drop my shoes as I fall into the water. The ocean pulls me away from the shore, crashing me into the sand. I tumble over and over, slamming into the gritty sand under the water. My mouth fills with water and sand, and I try to catch a breath of air as I flip around. Panic sets in when I realize I won't be able to reach the surface. I don't even know which way is up. The hands around me do, though. Propelling us through the water, my savior races us toward the surface. I let him guide me, not bothering to help kick. His movements are swift and purposeful. I cling to his arms as he rescues me. When I open my eyes, I can breathe again, but the world around me isn't the gold tones of sunset along the sandy beach. It's blue. You're fine, he says to me. Just stay calm and I'll explain. I suck in another breath, miraculously not drowning. My eyes grow wide as I watch the man who rescued me float in the water, breathing normally as if he weren't surrounded by ocean. My eyes trail down his beaded hair, covered in shells, to his chest. A belt sits on his waist, covered in bits of fish scales. I'm Quay, he informs me. My eyes dart back up to his face. I'm sure this must be strange for you, but you're safe here. I'll help you. His hands circle around my wrists as I tread water. He moves slightly, mimicking my motions to stay put in the ocean, except he's not moving like I am. The man is moving his hips back and forth with one motion instead of 2, as if walking on a treadmill. I glance down again, reevaluating my situation. Those weren't fish scales on a belt. It's a tail. Quay has a tail. I clench my teeth together as I force my eyes to keep dropping until I can see my own tail. My white and gray print dress with the beautiful luxurious sleeves is gone. My belt has washed away in the current and been replaced with a tail. Look at me. Quay squeezes my wrist as I begin to panic. Tell me your name. Cara. Cara, look at me, he replies. When I don't, his hand darts up, catching my chin until I meet his ice blue eyes. You were pulled into the sea. You've been given a gift. A tail? I ask in horror. You would have died in the water today had the sea not taken pity on you, he informs me. You were transformed into a mermaid so that you would survive. You've been found worthy, Cara. He drops his hand, leaving my face feeling exposed. Come, I have much to show you. He turns to swim away, still holding my wrist in his one hand. I'm bringing you to my mother. She's the queen of this part of the sea. She'll be able to explain things better to you. To you better. I need to get my legs back. I have to go home. Yes, the queen will help you. I find it curious that he refers to his mother by her title, but I don't say anything. He smiles softly, nodding to get me to move. Get me moving. I'm having a day today. Sorry, guys. His eyes are narrow but long, almost cat-like. I follow along, figuring out how to use my tail as he moves us along. I don't know which way land is, but I imagine we're swimming further and further away from it. I'm grateful I left my laptop at home today. It would be destroyed at this point. As it is, I'll need a new cell phone now. At least I didn't have any money on me, just the debit card I got a few months ago when I opened my bank account to start saving for a car to take to college next fall. Fish swim all around us as we dive deeper in the water. I start to realize just how similar we look when a lionfish darts by me. You make a lovely mermaid, by the way. Quay looks back, admiring my new body. I blink, unsure of what to say. His tail is similar to mine, covered in stripes and leafy parts. He almost looks like he found several giant blue betta fish and sewed their tails onto his. A few spikes stick off. Oh, I'm sorry. I was checking this. A few spikes stick off of the back of his tail, and I reach behind me to examine my own tail. I look like a human-sized lionfish. I'm incredibly grateful for the sports bra I wore today, though it stands out in stark contrast to the more muted colors of my tail. No way of hiding this, I suppose. He notices me frowning. Would you like some seaweed? He asks. What? I ask as he stops to face me. He refuses to take his eyes off mine. I noticed you looking at your attire. Perhaps it's not to your liking? I offered you seaweed as a way of changing your ill use. Ill use? I asked, wondering if I'd have an easier time talking to a dolphin. He motions to my chest without looking down. Oh, I catch on. Oh, yes, I would like seaweed. Anything to cover up would be helpful. Quay guides us farther down in the water toward the seaweed garden. Man, I should have read this first, guys. He lets me float while he gathers an armful of water plants for me. The merman drapes them over his forearm, letting each piece have its own resting place. He hovers by my side, holding it out to me, facing the same direction I am to give me space. I mumble something as I take them and quickly tuck the pieces in and around my sports bra to conceal it while he stares into the distance at my side. Wearing light colors to match my dress turned out to not be so helpful today. I wrap a piece around me as low as I can go and still have to tuck it into the wire around my bra as I bat my curly hair back. I didn't realize it was possible to have a bad hair day while floating under the ocean. So much for... I'm going to start that one again. I didn't realize it was possible to have a bad hair day while floating under the ocean. So much for mermaid hair being perfect. So this is an ill use, huh? I ask when I'm done. Yes, mermaid, he addresses me. Are you ready to go? This time he lets me swim on my own, following along beside him. Quay, I can't be a mermaid, I blurt out. What do you mean? You're doing splendidly. I have to return to the surface, I say, squishing my childhood dreams. You have business beneath the sea, Cara. He looks back at me. You're here for a reason. Shouldn't you explore what that is? He looks at me curiously. It's not right to waste a gift, he informs me. Destroying my cell phone is a gift all of a sudden? He furrows his brow when I mention my phone. Oh, what? He questions, wrinkling his nose. Guys, I'm doing so good today. Oh, what? He questions, nose wrinkled. Cell phone, I inform him. It's a device that you can call people on, a way to communicate. Like a conch. Not exactly. What? Then what is this device? I explain how a cell phone works to the dark merman. I considered fishing it out of my bag to show him. With my luck, I'd drop it to the bottom of the sea and I would never be able to find it again. Not that will work, even if I do get it out of the ocean. So exactly like a conch, he replies. You whisper a name into it and then a message, and the shell locks everyone out until it's delivered to the right person. Then your words fizzle away like sea foam. I'd have to remember that next time I'm collecting shells on my walk home from work. Cara, look! Quay shouts, swimming up in the water. He bends his fingers so that his body waves as he moves. I push hard on my tail, trying to keep up. I tip my fingers up and down like I did as a child when my dad drove me home from school on his off day, and I stuck my fingers out of the window. I bounce mercilessly on the water until I hold my fingers straight. Look here, he says, pointing to a tiny sea turtle. He moves his hand near it, dropping a chain down so that it looks like a small creature was wearing it. Quay lifts it away as stealthily as a magician. Is that my necklace? I gasp. I was trying to catch it when I fell in. It's not yours, Cara, he grins. Yours is around your neck. I slipped it on when I caught you. He swims closer to me as my hand flies to my throat. This one is mine. It's an octopus, see? Quay cocks an eyebrow at me. It's a similar shape, so I see how you could mistake it. I'm impressed that he managed to get it around my neck without me noticing. Of course, I was rolling around in a riptide, so that might have had something to do with it. I also thought you might like to see the baby turtle. It was adorable, I reply, eyes roaming behind him to where the creature swam off, but I have no luck finding it. Come, there are more of them near the palace. Is there anything you would like to see along the way? I'm not here for a sightseeing adventure. Oh, guys. I'm not here for a sightseeing adventure. I came here to meet the queen and see if she can help me get my legs back. Then again, the pod of dolphins swimming toward us could make for a cool experience. What about them? I ask, pointing toward the dolphins. Silently, he swims ahead. I follow as closely as I dare. For a second, I consider catching a ride on his tail, but then I realize he's a merman, not a dolphin. The pod surrounds us, chattering. Quay nods to me as he holds out his hand, allowing a dolphin to slip under his waiting fingers. The moment a gray dorsal fin passes by, he takes off, darting through the water. And so that is the first chapter of The Sinking. If you are interested in reading more about The Sinking, this is going to be available by going over to thesinkinginfo.kmrobinsonbooks.com. You can grab it on all the main platforms today. You can find out what happens when Quay and Cara are actually reaching our sea queen, and we find out who our evil sea witch is and why she's trying to silence Cara. And I've already told you it is not for the reason that you think. So I'm really excited for this one. This is a super fun one to write. This is actually a part of the Of the Deep Mermaid anthology back in the day, and it is now a standalone as well. So I'm very, very excited for this one. I actually had the honor of showing this to Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel, the Little Mermaid, from the Disney movie, which is so much fun. She absolutely loved it. I've also been able to show this book to Philo Barnhart, the man who created Ariel, or much of Ariel inside of the movie The Animator. And I do have pictures of him with the book as well. So it's lots of the fun. Victor! Hey! Oh, I'm excited that you're here. I'm glad that you are enjoying that. Danielle, I'm glad that you're enjoying that as well. And I'm really excited that you guys are here joining me. I do need to know, what book do you want me to read from next? I promise I will have it more together than I did for this one. This one was a little on the rough side for me today. Whew, sorry. I've been doing a lot of talking, and so it has not worked super well for me today to speak. But let me know, what story do you want to hear the first chapter or first couple of chapters from? We do have some that are coming up. We're going to be reading Jaded soon. We are going to be reading, we've already read from Mulan. We've read from Sugar Coated. I'm like trying to think of which ones I have read recently. We've got Golden, we've got the Stealing Steam series, the Lions and Lamps, we've got Cinderella, all those fun, fabulous stories. I want to know, which one do you want me to read live next? We are right now simulcasting both on YouTube and on Facebook, so I'd love to hear from you guys. Where are you joining me from? Leave some comment love and let me know what story you want me to read from next. I was this close, Victor, to reading from the Siren Wars today, and I chose to go with The Sinking because the necklace I happen to be wearing I thought was very Cara-like. But let me know, which ones do you want me to read from next? I would love to get those out here for you, and these will be over in the World Portal. Speaking of which, we are updating the website right now. I'm doing some really cool things behind the scenes, and I will be launching that in the not too distant future, but I might have added a couple of little things over to the website, so make sure you go hit up kmrobinsonbooks.com for more fun, fabulous things. And if you got questions with The Sinking or any of my books, I would love to get those answered for you. We are going to be doing more live streams over the next couple of days and weeks. I'm really excited for this, and I want to know, what story do you want me to read from live next? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Until next time, I hope you all have a fantastic